Hello all and welcome to Crochet Designs. My name is Mary. In today's tutorial you are working on part 6 of our Sunshine Delight jacket. Get excited guys. Part 6 is a big one. We're going to finish off the back and then you're going to do the right front of your piece and you're also attaching the right front of your piece. Very exciting, very exciting. Now heads up, in the middle of the tutorial can get slightly confusing because 3 extra large to 5 extra large has 3 sets to attach, whereas extra small to 2 extra large only has 2. Be careful of your sizing. Make sure you start at the right section for your size. Extra small and medium, you will start joining your fronts on the second piece. 3 extra large to 5 extra large, you will start joining your front there. All right, so heads up there. But that was pretty much it. It sounded a little bit confusing in the middle of the tutorial because I jumped from one bit to the next. It's not completely confusing. You see exactly what you need to do for your size. So there you go. All right, in the meantime, make sure for your size you have the amount of squares you need, and I will pop that information up in just a moment. But for now, you are completing the rest of the back. We got halfway through the back, right? You're going to complete, we didn't get halfway through, we got towards the end. You're going to complete the rest of the back in this tutorial and leave that last tail. When you slip stitch and cut it, you leave it. Then you complete the front, all right? And once again, also you cut it and leave it. Notice how I've left a long tail in case there's an issue and I need to take mine undone. But I don't think I will because I have checked it. All right. You just need your average tail for weaving in, but don't worry about weaving in these two ends because we're going to have another row of clusters along the base of your work. All right, so the border round will be around the base of your piece. So instead of having one row of your dark, you will have 2 rows. Not right now, that will come. But the reason I'm doing that is because we have 2 rows in between. So we need to have 2 rows for the base. Then we'll talk about border rounds and ribbing and all sorts of things in the future, not now. Today, all we're talking about is part 6 and you will need your squares. You will need the squares I'm going to tell you in a minute, but you will need your scissors, you will need your hook that you're using for your size, and you will need that sewing needle because in the middle of my tutorial, you see how I have 100,000 ends that I never weaved in, but they're in now. It took me ages to weave them in, but there you go. All right, so make sure you do that. Oh, you'll also need 1 or 2 stitch markers that you will be using anyway, all right? At least 2 stitch markers you'll need, all right? That's it, guys. I'm not going to talk anymore because once again, my tutorials go a long time. In a minute, you'll see how many squares you'll need for your size, and by the time you finish part 6, you will be right at the very end of your right front, getting ready for your left front. Don't do your left front because it started completely different. So just complete your right front and I'll see you in part 7 for your left front. So without further ado, we're going to head off and do the right front of your Sunshine Delight jacket. Alrighty guys, so here I am at the end of the back of my back, that is. We're going to just have a quick look. We'll move this out the way for now. Just going to have a quick look at where you should all be. Now, extra small to medium, you should all have, how many squares? 20 squares. That's 4 times 5. 4 across this way, 5 down this way. So 5, 10, 15, 20. Your back should look like that, which was pretty much what you saw here. But you should only have the 4 rows of 5, yeah? Now, large to 2 extra large, you needed 25 squares. You needed 5 times 5, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 squares, which is exactly what I have there. I'm just trying to get in first before we do anything else. Make sure you've got everything right. And 3 extra large to 5 extra large, you should have 36 squares, which is, I believe, 6 times 6. So I'm not going to count it because I failed maths. But 6 times 6 is 36, trust me. She failed maths. All right, so that's what you should have on your back. So this is exactly where you should be. Now, you're not finished with your back yet. Oh, let me bring this out. This is no good. Come on, you can do this. Here we go. This is where you should be. All right, we started here And we worked around and we did our rows all in a row. And then we ended up here. And I said to you, get to the corner right at the very end of your last row. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because I did the middle sizes, right? So it's entirely up to you what your size is. But when you get to the size that you saw on the sheet for your size, this is where you need to be, right here. Now we're going to finish the back right now, and we're also going to start the front. That's what part 6 of our jacket is all about, okay? And we're so far away. Here we go. So I asked you to get to this corner. You probably would have chained 1 and 2, and if you didn't, chain 1 and 2. Yarn over your hook, double crochet 3 in the same corner. You know this part, you've been doing them all along. We're turning and working down the sides. All right, I'm not going to show you the whole piece, but I'm going to get to that side again. You know where the join was and everything, so that you know what you're doing. I'm sure you know what you're doing, but I'm just going to get you there, show you the first bit, and then tell you what you need to do next, because the next part's fantastic. We love that part. That would be the end of the back, which is very exciting. I'm sorry guys, 3 double crochets or 1 cluster set in every space across. Come on Mary, you know what you're doing, let's go. In every space across, just drop your tail at the back. And this is the way I do my tails. You can do whatever way you like. You don't have to do this way. Okay, all good. So we're nearly there. We have this corner. We're ready. We're there. All right. So what you want to do, and I hope that wasn't too fast for you. I do apologise, but I'm rushing through it to give you some instructions, so you don't have to sit here and watch me for the first half an hour. So yarn over your hook, get into the corner doing your normal cluster set of 3 double crochets. So there's no trebles, there's nothing fancy about this round. It's basic granny round, but you're chaining 1. And remember what I said, you can either go into the space or you can do what I like to do, which I believe is a lot better, but it's up to you. You can go into the space too, and you can slip stitch into the stitch there, the chain 1, then you chain 1 again and you jump over to your next corner, finishing off that second corner. And I've got a bit of fluff on mine, I'll just have to pull it off in a minute. And then you just jump into your very next set, which I'm going to stop in a moment. Just want to do this last set, and then I'm going to give you some instructions. Okay, it just saves you standing there watching me. You don't want to sit there and watch me all day. You can if you like. I don't mind. All right, so what you did was, that was your last row. You got to the top, you got to that corner, we turned around, and now you're going to work along this edge. When you get to this edge, you get to that corner, all right? I'm not going to put a stitch marker, you know what you're doing. You get to that corner and you turn your work. You're now working along the base of where we initially started our piece from, because that's where our stitch marker is, all right? So what I want you to do, continue along the way, do your corner, turn, and do the sides down the base exactly the same way as you're doing the sides here. Do the base. You might find it, I don't know, easier, more comfortable, who knows, but anyway, do exactly the same when you get down here. And then when you get to the space before your stitch marker, now let me show you, the space before your corner, don't do it, all right? Do everything else. She pulls it up, she brings it down, she brings it up. So do all of that, turn, get up to that stitch marker right there. Meet me there in just a moment and we will talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, so here I am at the end of my piece. Okay, let's get a closer right there. Alright, so I did my last cluster set before the blue stitch marker. Alright, so where that blue stitch marker is, there's a space just before your corner. You're going to do one last cluster set in that space before the corner. and 3. And then all you're going to do is slip stitch into the stitch with your stitch marker. And that stitch marker's been in there since a very long time. Remove that stitch marker, pull up a loop, check your work, because you are going to cut this thread. You are done with the back. All right, I check my work off air, so make sure you check your work before you cut. I usually leave a long tail in case I've forgotten a stitch or something. That can happen, even to me, yeah. So what I want you to do here, before we continue, I want you to go ahead, and if you haven't weaved in any ends, go ahead and weave those ends in, right? Like me, I haven't weaved them in. But if you want to leave this one last end for later on in our tutorials, we're talking part 10 or 11, we can weave that in then. Okay, because we're going to do another round around this piece eventually. Not now, because we're going to be doing some attaching first, and then this is the base. Oh, by the way, that is the base of your jacket. So if you turn it around, your jacket, that's the base of the back of your jacket. So wherever this thread is, make that the base of your jacket. All right, and the top part is there. Now the reason is this way you don't have any tails. You might have, depending if you've changed yarn. But if you haven't, like me, and I've used the same yarn for this piece, that my tails will not be noticeable. There'll be no tails there. It doesn't matter. It just helps with connecting later. All right, for part 6, this is what I want you to do. The fronts, okay? I say the fronts because there's 2, all right? There's a right and a left. 2 things you need to focus on. When you're doing the front, we are attaching one side up the top, and we're going to attach that top to our back piece. For now, we're only going to work on the first square. We're going to work on the amount of squares we need. So for extra small to 2 extra large, you're going to do the right front only. All right, so you will need 10 squares and 2. So you'll need 12 squares. These 2 are going to be placed up the top, which we will be attaching to the back. All right, so for extra small to 2 extra large, you will need your 12 squares. Now let's move over to the next one. 3 extra large to 5 extra large, I want you to do your front. So you will need 18 squares for your right front and another 3 squares. What is that? 21. You'll need 21 squares altogether. She failed maths. You'll need 21 squares altogether. All right. So 3 extra large to 5 extra large, get your 21 squares ready. All right. So from here, we're only going to focus on the right front for now. Now, the reason is because once we start doing our right front, let's pretend they're all together. When we get to the very, very top, we are going to attach that top to the top of our shoulder there. Then we're going to turn around, finish off the square, come back down and complete it down at the base, like we did when we made our full piece. But don't worry about that for now. Your focus for now is to start one square. This is all sizes. All sizes join me right now, and you know what to do here because you've already done it on the back. But I'm going to show you real quickly and you're going to finish it. Okay, so I don't know, you can pop your, I'm going to pop my tail down. Well, it doesn't really matter. Really, it doesn't. I'm just going to pop it in the right hand. The tail's on the left hand. There you go. That was a lot of fussing for nothing. Grab your brown colour, whichever colour you're using for your final round. Yep. Pull your loop through and just grab your tail, passing it forward. We're just going to lock it in place with a chain and tighten it up. That's the first chain, 2 and 3. We classify that as a chain that pulls through. Grab your stitch marker. Any colour, doesn't matter. Piece of thread, paper clip, whatever you've got in stock. And that's very far away. It doesn't matter because you've done this before, but anyway, we're going to do 2 double crochets in that space. 1 and 2. And then you're going to chain 2. 1 and 2. And 3 more double crochets in the space. All right, now this is the base of your piece. You could have popped a tail down the base. It doesn't matter. There's no right, wrong way of doing this because you're going to crochet over that and then you're going to sew it in anyway. All right, then what are you going to do? Jump into your first square, your first space, and do your 3 double crochets. All right, I don't think you need me to show you the rest of this, but what I want you to do is do your crochets right over to this corner. So your job is to go clusters all the way across, do one corner, get down to here, wait for me there, and then we will talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, so I asked you to get from where we were here to the first corner, and you would have done your normal corner set there, gone all the way across, and I asked you to get to that space right there, pop your cluster set in the space. I got crochet happy and didn't wait, right? So pop your cluster set in that space, your first one, yeah? And then what you're going to do here is grab your next square. Now I realized how I've been doing my squares. Usually I pop the hook there before the knot. And I think for this case, on the right side of our work, I'm going to continue to do that. So I did start it wrongly on the other. It doesn't really matter. It's just the way I want to keep it in sync, that sort of thing. Yeah. All right. So from here, you are going to chain 1. And you're going to grab your new square. Now you know how to do this because you made the front the same. So you're still working on your right sides here. So yarn over your hook. You're going to pop into that first corner with your double crochet. I mean, you make the back the same. I don't know. Did I say front? And your second double crochet. I don't know what I said there. Doesn't really matter. And your third double crochet. All right. So you should be like that. Yeah. Then you're going to do what you would normally do. Yeah. Slip stitch into that opposite side right there. Pull the loop through. And then you're jumping right over here. You're not going back into the corner. You're jumping right over here and you're doing your 3 double crochets because we're going to complete that corner later when we add the next set. Yeah. Remember, we are doing the right front of our fronts. We're starting with the right front. Slip stitch to join. And you know how to do the rest. You have done this for the back piece, all right? I'm not going to head off, but what I'm going to do is pop this on fast. We're going to slip stitch right into the very next piece, pop it on fast until we get to the corner, and we'll do the first 3 double crochets. By the time I get there, we'll go back to normal and I'll show you how to do the rest, all right? So off we go. I'm going to pop this on fast now. Alrighty guys, I'm in the corner space and just completing my first cluster because you know in the corner space you have 2 clusters and a chain 2. Chain 1, slip stitch into the corner like so, chain your second one, and then you turn your work and complete the corner. Again, you know how to do this, but it's good to have that refresher course, yeah, if you will. So your job now is to jump into every space across with your double crochets, your sets, if you will, cluster sets. All right, so what I want you to do now, we can do this off air actually, do your sets all the way to the corner, get to this stitch marker right here, and I'll meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, here we are, completed our second square. We're going to start attaching the rest, but before we do, go back to your front details. Alright, so extra small to 2 extra large, I would like for you to do the 1 row, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you've already attached 2, you're going to attach your next 3. Get your next square ready, but don't attach it. I want you now to attach 1, 2, and 3 squares on your piece. All right. So for 3 extra large to 5 extra large, I'm trying to not make you confused. You've done 1 and 2. You need to go 1, 2, 3, 4 more squares. You need to attach 4 more squares to your piece, and then we'll attach that last one, right? But for now, this is what I want everyone to do. Have a look at your piece here. If I can bring this down, it'll work. All right, have a look at your piece. Grab your squares. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is for extra small to, might be benefit to do it this way. That's better. Here we go. That works well. All right. For extra small to 2 extra large, you need to attach 5 squares. Get to this part, which is right here, on your squares, and meet me back here, and we will attach that last square to your piece. For 3 extra large to 5 extra large, you need to attach 4 more squares. Get to that section on this piece right here, and then we'll all return and everyone will attach their last square. So really all I should have said was, which would have been so much easier, extra small to 2 extra large, attach 3 more squares. 3 extra large to 5 extra large, attach 4 more squares. All right, so your job now is to head off on your own, attach the squares you need for your size, and meet me back here once you're done. Get to this section of your last square and get ready to attach to your shoulder square. Alrighty guys, so here we are at the end of our piece, right? What extra small to 2 extra large should have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What 3 extra large to 5 extra large should have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, make sure you have the correct amount of squares, because this is where we grab our next square, which we're going to attach to this like normal. But when we get up the top, we're going to attach it to our back. All right, so keep that in mind. So in the meantime, just grab your very new square. So for extra small to 2 extra large, this should be your 6th square. For 3 extra large to 5 extra large, this should be your 7th square. All right. So start your, oh, we're so far away, really we are. Start your piece like normal, where you're chaining 1, hopping into the corner like normal, and doing your cluster set like normal. So that's 2, 3, and you are slip stitching just like normal. All right, there's nothing new for this part here. All you're doing is the same thing that you would do if you need to attach your piece. All right, so what I want you to do, I'm going to let you head off on your own and do this part of it. Grab another stitch marker. Oh, let's go so far away from me now. So grab your next stitch marker, and this is what I want you to do. You need to do all of that to there and get to the space before your corner. All right, so do all of that, get to that space right there, meet me there, and then we will start attaching that to our back. So you need your back for the next part. All right, so do all of that, do the corner, go over to that second last space, complete it, and wait for me there. Alrighty guys, so now extra small to 2 extra large, you should have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attached right there at your stitch marker. For 3 extra large to 5 extra large, you should have 7 attached right there at your stitch marker. All right, remove your stitch marker, everyone. Okay, and I'm going to show you where we are. We are, let's get a close up. We are just before your corner, so you need to complete that set. We're going to hop into the corner now, and we're going to attach that to our backs. How we do that is pretty much like this. Move it out the way for a minute. Grab your back. All right, so the final tail of your back, remember the final tail, I said that will be the base, yeah? So what I want you to do, I'm going to try and move everything out the way because it's going to get very big now. That's your base. So you push your base, this is the right side of your work, all the way up, right? And leave it there. Grab your piece. And we're going to start. I'm just going to leave the other piece there, and all we're going to do is pop a cluster set in the corner of your 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, and then we're going to chain 1 like normal. So now what we're going to do is grab your piece. There's your piece. Now remember, this is your right front. This is the right side of our work on the back. All everyone needs to do is go to the last 2 squares. Now for 3 extra large to 5 extra large, you need to start your square on the 3rd square, not the 2nd one. Extra small to 2 extra large, your squares are going to be here. 3 extra large to 5 extra large, your squares are going to be right here. All right. So keep in mind that 3 extra large to 5 extra large, you are doing 3 sections across and not 2. I'm working on the 2 because that's all I need for my size. But for 3 extra large to 5 extra large, you need to start your piece right there. All right. And you're going to work right opposite that 2nd last square. All right, this is going to be the front of our work. We are working on the front of our work in this join. Making sure your little tail is at the base, yeah? And you are working right opposite that piece right there. Now, it looks a tiny little bit awkward, but it is correct. So don't worry, it won't be wrong. Normally we would go into that space there and work across, which we're still going to do. But I want you to make it stronger. We're going to slip stitch into the last corner of that side, right? So we're going to slip stitch there first. So you're popping your hook into that side and you're slip stitching to join. Now, of course, normally we wouldn't do that, but it is the front and we want to give it strength, yeah? So then we're going to slip stitch into that piece right there. Pull the loop through like so. Chain 1. And now we're going to do our normal cluster set in there, yeah? So do your normal 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. All right, so before when I meant the front, I meant the back. But I meant the join of the back. So just don't worry about that for now. We are going to work around there, so don't worry too much about it. I just wanted it to be strong so that it's not pulling too much, yeah? So we are now going to slip stitch. Be careful, don't slip stitch back into the same corner that you are in. You're slip stitching into your next space, like so. And then you are doing your normal cluster set, like that. Super easy, yeah? Super easy. All right, so your job now is to just slip stitch across like so. When I say slip stitch across, I meant slip stitch. And then just keep going. I went quiet there, sorry guys. I went quiet, didn't I? She does that sometimes. What I will do though is I'll just bring it out, and because that must be really blurry and making everything a little awkward to see. So I'm going to bring that out back to where we usually are. And I'm going to just drop my piece in front like that. All right, didn't do anything, I just brought it in front so it's easier for us to see and you can see what I'm doing. All right, that's better. Now you can see better. Don't you love it? All right, slip stitch into the next space like normal. You know this part. This is the easy part. The only difficult part was the corner, the first corner. After that, the rest is what you already know. Slip stitch into there. You know how to do this, yeah? And then you do your final cluster set in the corner. So do a full cluster set. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1, and once again we're going back to doing I'm trying to get, it's a bit awkward. We're going back to doing the corner that's opposite us, not the corner that we're near, but the one that's opposite us, because we're going to pop another row there in a minute. All right, so just ignore that first corner, jump into your second corner with a slip stitch, chain 1, and we are going to turn our piece. I wonder how far out I can take it. No, that's it. We're going to turn our piece to the side. Yeah, just ignore the back area now. It's a bit awkward. Yeah, so we're going to turn our piece to the side. Did I chain 1? I already chained 1. So make sure it's not too loose. You're going to jump back into the corner and complete that corner with your cluster set. Jump into the next space with your cluster set. Truly easy now, isn't it? We fly through this section into the space with your cluster set. And my yarn is caught. It usually gets caught when I have large pieces. When I'm working with large. Usually when I'm making blankets it gets caught. Into the next spot with your cluster set. Space, spot, wherever you want to call it, yes. Into the next space I have a tail. You may not. I have a tail. I'm going to crochet over that tail like I usually do. For my second last cluster set in this square. And then we're near our corner area with that separation area. Yeah. So let's just do our 3 double crochets. 2 and 3. Chain 1. And what are we doing here? Finding the chain 1 here. Or you can pop it in the space if you find it more comfortable. Me, I'm going through the chain 1. Pulling the loop through and pulling it through to the loop on my hook. Chain 1, corner there. All right, you know this, you've done this all the way through the back piece, so you know what you're doing. So let me show you what you've done. Actually, you know what we'll do? Let's just do one more set over here so I can get you on track. You're going to head off on your own in a minute and complete this side. Okay? In fact, I'm going to give you some more instructions of how you're going to complete things. Yeah? All right, so in the meantime, this is what you have done. You have attached the back to your front at the shoulder. Now you're thinking, oh my gosh, it's 1 square short. No, it isn't. We're going to lift it up. Your piece is going to look like that, and your shoulder's going to come up. All right, we're going to work on this section later, so don't worry about that. But for now, we're going to work only on our front. All right, so what you're going to do, and this is the easy part, and before I come back, I think I should have some of these tails done. You're going to crochet over your piece all the way down until the end. You are going to place a stitch marker at the end of this piece, another one. When you get to that corner, you're going to stop. All right, so what I want you to do is do this whole edge. You know how to do it. Let's remove that stitch marker. I don't even know why that one's there. Let's remove that. Excuse me. Get rid of that one. That's from before. I forgot to remove it. Don't you love it? So what you're going to do, take 2. You're going to start from here, work all the way down. Remember how to do your join area. Work all the way down. Keep going. Get to your first stitch marker right there. Meet me there and we will talk about attaching the next side. Alrighty guys, so where everyone should be is this. You should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 if you are extra small to 2 extra large, or 7 if you are 3 extra large to 5 extra large. Alright, and I asked you to get right down, let's move this out the way because it's going to get very confusing with it there. I asked you to get down to this piece here, where your stitch marker is. You're going to complete the corner like normal for just 3 double crochets. All right, so do your 3 double crochets. And don't forget to remove the stitch marker like I did before. Don't you love it? So I'll leave it there because we're going to need that in a minute. All right, grab your next square. Now this square is the one that you're going to do here, not here. We're going to chain 1 and then we're going to go along this edge here. to complete our right front. All right, so chain 1, grab your square and do your 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, and go this way. All right, so you should have these two facing each other and be working along the squares that we just attached. All right, hoping this is making sense. So you're going to slip stitch into there. I'll show you it from the top later in a minute, like so. Just do your first set. It's actually your second set if you think about it, but it's your first set from the corner. And slip stitch into the next space, making sure you're going in all the right spaces, yeah? Otherwise it's not going to marry up at the end. You know this, you've done them before. Just do that last set and then we'll have a quick chat about where we're going, just so that you can see exactly where I went. All right, so this is the front. All right, so that, oh, excuse me, Mary, let's bring that out a bit. All right, so that is your front. So your front should look like this. All right, up the top it should come up like that. That's the first part of your front. Should look like that. When you look at it from here, you've got that happening. This is dangling. You're doing the second row of your front. If your piece is down here, then you've gone the wrong way. All right, you need to go along. We're going to work along the pieces that we just completed. All right, I thought I'd show you that before we continue, in case you realize when you get up the top, uh-oh, I'm wrong. Okay, or in your case down the bottom, you just keep going, yeah? So if that's what you did, then you just have to take that undone and have another look at what we're doing here. But for the rest of us, I'm going to get you past this corner section. And let's bring it up. The piece is going to be a little awkward on the table, guys, so bear with me, yeah? And we're very overcast here in Melbourne at the moment, so it's very dark in the house. I do apologise in advance for that. Okay, it's got to be overcast sometimes. It's got to rain sometimes, guys. It can't be... I wish it was perfect weather every day, but it can't be perfect weather every day, yeah? All right, so slip stitch, she's just got so sidetracked there, into the next section, and then you're doing your cluster set before the corner. Now I'm going to rush this a little bit so that we can get into the corner and I can show you what we're doing. Okay, you'll know once you get in there what to do, but we will do it anyways, like so. Slip stitch. Now we're hopping into the corner and completing the first cluster set like normal. 1, 2, 3, chain 1 like normal. And in this case, once again, we're not going into that first corner, we're going into the opposite corner, directly opposite your piece. All right, so skip that first corner, jump into your second corner with your slip stitch, chain 1, turn your piece. You're going to work along here now. So it's a little awkward, do your last 3 double crochets, and get to the corner, and you're only doing 3 double crochets. So 1, 2 and 3. All right, the sun is in and out confusing us, guys. It's confusing me a little bit because it's in and out. Oh, well, it's just me, not you. So where you are is like that. Now normally we would have come down here and attached and gone up. We're not going to do that. We're going to turn and do the next square. All right, so what I want you to do, I just wanted to show you far away so you can see where I'm going. All right, so we are here. Grab your new square, move everything out the way. Grab your new square, chain your 1, chain 1, and there's your new square. You're going to do a new square with your double crochet cluster set right there, like so. And then you're going to turn your piece and slip stitch into your last set space there and complete your square along here. Complete your square. All right, so what I want to do, I'm going to pop this on fast and get to this section right here, and we're going to complete the rest. All right, so in the meantime, slip stitch to join and off we go. Alrighty guys, so I'm at the corner here, so I'm going to do my corner 3 double crochets like normal, like so, chain 1. Alright, we're at a corner where, remember when we were doing the back and we ended up with a corner of your 4 corners ready to go, and this is exactly what you're going to do like we did for the back. This side was connected to this piece, so this piece is going to be connected to the opposite side. So all you're doing is picking up your piece. So there's your first corner, and there's your opposite corner, and this is the corner we need to go into. So pop your hook in, pull a loop through, make sure this stitch is a little tight, not too loose. Chain 1, jump back into the corner and complete your corner. 1, 2, 3. Slip stitch into your next space there, right there, like so, and connect this piece to the new side that you've already done, to the first row that we just did of squares. Super easy. You've done this with the back, so you should know what you're doing. Yeah, connect to the next side right there. Oops, split the stitch there, don't you love it when that happens? No. Slip stitch into the next, all the way across. Slip stitch, almost there. Three. And look what I've done here. Look at that. A little bit of yarn vomit, guys. Don't you love it? It happens occasionally. All right, so we are slip stitching across to the opposite side, and we're jumping into the corner, yeah, with our normal corner of 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1. Now open up again so you can see where you are. You are here. You would go opposite right there, like we've been doing all along. So you're doing an opposite. So you're skipping that first corner, you're jumping into your next corner with a slip stitch, chain 1, turn your work, and you're going to just work along these stitches to complete this square. So do your 3 double crochets, 1, 2, whoops, and 3. And then you're jumping into your next space and complete your side. So I'm going to pop this on fast until we get down to that corner, and off we go. forgot, we're in the corner, guys, and I'm finishing off my third stitch there. All right, I think you know exactly what you're doing. Let's bring all that out. What we did was we attached our first square, then we attached our second square and joined everything, and now you're going to continue your squares all the way along. You don't need me here for this part. All right, so what I want you to do, and it's really awkward now because my stuff is falling off the table. I'm going to lose a frame in a minute. All right, so what I want you to do, I don't think you need to watch me doing this. I'm going to set the timer back to here, and just for you to have a look at. I'm going to pop it up on the screen in a minute. So what I want you to do is when you get to the space before, I'm going to pop it like this so you can see what I'm doing, before the end of your last square. All right, so when you get to that section right there, I need you to stop. So you are going to attach 1, 2, 3, 4 if you are extra small to 2 extra large, or 5 if you are 3 extra large to 5 extra large. But I want everyone to get to this section right here before attaching. Just get to this section here. Meet me there once you're done, and we'll talk about finalising the right front of our jacket. Alrighty guys, so for now I asked you to get to, and I'm just showing you this way because that way you know where you're at. That's your stitch marker. I had to take it out of my square. Could have just left it in the space rather than the actual square. So that's your stitch marker. That's where I want you to be. This is the space before your corner. So we're going to get close, and I'm going to move all this piece down, but we're still going to be working like that as you've been working all along. I just want to get it out the way because that way it's less blurry for you and you can see what's going on. All right, so I did that second last space here. I need to pop it in the stitch marker space. So remove that stitch marker, pop it into the stitch marker space with a slip stitch, and start your corner. So we are going to do our corner with start our corner with our 3 double crochets, 2 and 3, chain 1. All right, from here, once again, you are going not in the first corner and not in the opposite corner, but the one directly opposite to you. Pop your hook in the corner over all thicknesses, pull a loop through, pull it through to the loop on your hook. Tighten it up, chain 1, make sure it's not loose, yeah, and complete your corner with your 3 double crochets. 1, don't leave that stitch too loose, or you're going to end up with it pulling down. Okay, so there, let me show you that stitch. All right, so it goes over, but it's not loose because this is the top corner. You don't want that loose, yeah. All right, so that's that, and then from here you are slip stitching over to your next space as though you were attaching the sides, yeah, the next piece. All right, it's not difficult, just got to make sure you get into the right corner section for each square. That's pretty much all it is. Everything else, you know what you're doing. You're slip stitching into one space and you are doing the cluster set into the next space. Whoops, without doing half double crochets. We're doing doubles, Mary. Come on, you've been doing this all along and you still managed to mess it up. Just telling herself off, guys. I'm going to pop it on fast until we get to the corner and you know what to do, and off we go. And into the corner with our first cluster of 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3. This is a very simple part. You're chaining 1 like normal. This time you're going over to the corner like normal, chain 1, and now you're going to work along the side of your piece. So do your other 3 double crochets, jump into your next space with 3 double crochets, 2 and 3. All right, and we're going to continue to do our clusters until we get to that join, and I'm going to pop this on fast and off we go. Alright, so here we are at our corner area. We start our corner like normal with your 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3. Chain 1, and you are slip stitching. You know how to do this, but we'll do it again. Into the chain. Once again, you can go into the space if you find it awkward, but I like the look of it in the chain. I really do like the look of it. So, but that's up to you. Chain 1. And we want to jump into the corner and complete it. 1, 2 and 3. Jump straight into the next set with your 3 double crochets. 2 and 3. All right, so yours truly is going to lift up the thread and just pop a stitch marker here. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to give you instructions now. Okay, because believe it or not, that's the end of part 6. What? They're saying, are you sure? Yes, because you are going to head off on your own and complete the rest of part 6. Very simple task. All right, so you've done this before with the back, okay, but before we go on, 3 extra large to 5 extra large, you need to complete this all the way down here, and then you need to add another row, because you have that 3rd squares to put in, all right? And then when you get to the other row where you're finishing here like us, you come down at the end, and that's for everyone now. We get to here, we crochet to the corner, we do our corner piece, and we do our clusters all the way across, and then you're going to make your last cluster here and slip stitch to join and cut your thread. Don't worry about the tail on this thread because we are doing a border around it and probably some ribbing around it as well. Haven't decided yet, but definitely doing a border around it. So we're going to be adding another round of brown at the base of this piece. So just keep that in mind, yeah? But in the meantime, these are the instructions, all right? Extra small to 2 extra large, all you need to do is do the rest of this row, finish your corner, come across here, slip stitch to join, cut your piece and weave in your 5.7 million ends, yeah? 3 extra large to 5 extra large, you come all the way down, you turn, you add your next set of squares, the same way we've been doing all along here, okay? And I'll leave some instructions up the top for 3 extra large to 5 extra large to complete their squares, yeah? Once you add your second set of squares and you are at this point, you're going to come down and slip stitch to join at the end. Cut your thread and you're ready for the left front. All right, remember 3 extra large to 5 extra large, you need to do another set of squares on your piece. Once everybody has finished their squares, we're going to meet back either tomorrow or on Monday. All right, we're going to meet back and we are going to do part 7. All right, because I will be doing part 7 all day tomorrow, working on it. If I don't get it complete, you will get it on Monday. All right, so keep that in mind. But part 6 is now complete. All right, what I do want you to do is make sure you weave in all these 5 million ends if you have them. If your ends are weaved in, hey, more power to you, yeah? Weave in all your ends. Get ready for part 7. And part 7, you need to have, let me grab our pieces of paper again. All right, so we're going to grab our papers. Let's get a close-up. You need to, this is why I had my hand over here before, because we were only working on the right front. Now, we're going to be working on the final front. So everyone from extra small to 2 extra large needs to have another 12 squares. Get them ready for part 7. Everyone from 3 extra large to 5 extra large, you get 21 squares ready for part 7. All right, 21 for you guys, 12 for you guys. Get ready to finalize the fronts and the back. We will finalize that on part 7. It's very exciting, yeah? Now, when I say finalize, that's just putting the pieces together. There's still so much work we need to do on our jacket. The next part we're going to work on after part 7 will be the sleeves, and the sleeves have a little bit of a twist to them, so get excited on that. But don't attach anything else, just complete part 6. Don't do the left front because that's done a little different once again. Every front is different because they're 2 fronts, yep. So that's done completely different. Leave the left front for part 7 and we'll get together and do that. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to turn it around because it looks pretty like that. Oh, look at that. It's complete. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share and do all the wonderful things that you guys already do for me. And for those of you who are joining us new and you would like to create this jacket and you haven't started it, just go to the playlist. I've left the playlist in a description box down below. It starts from part 1 and works its way all the way up to part 6 where we are at the moment. It is an annual project, so your jacket will not be complete until we get to around, the first week of December. Keep that in mind, all right? So thank you very much for watching. I'll see everyone on our lives at 4 p.m. Wednesday afternoons, 10 a.m. Saturday mornings, Melbourne, Australia time. Marry that up with your country. My name is Mary, and this is Wild Crochet Designs. Ciao for now.